Can you deduce what will be the #1 pick? Why, it's elementary, my dear Watson. I promise never to do that again.
Creepy, huh?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're going to deduce the top 10 greatest detective video games.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
For this list, we've taken out our magnifying glasses to examine which games best capture the mystery and sleuthing of the detective genre.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Number 10, Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Who better to start than the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes?
Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him.
Though this series has numerous titles, newcomers can just skip to the most recent entry if they're looking to uncover impressive visuals, great puzzle variety, and some really compelling cases.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Topped off by impressive voice work, fans of both the character and the genre will find their enjoyment here to be quite elementary.
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now.
Number 9, Hotel Dusk, Room 215. The most immediately striking part about Hotel Dusk, Room 215 is its creative art style that looks like an artist's sketchbook come to life. Aside from that, Hotel Dusk puts the Nintendo DS touchscreen to great use, with the player tapping on various items and people as they explore a mysterious hotel that is rumored to have a magical room that can grant people's wishes. With this unique art style and its compelling setting, Hotel Dusk Room 215 makes for a great detective adventure, even if your character is technically just a former detective. Number 8, The Wolf Among Us.
Bigby! And Miss White! Surely you didn't come all this way just for my bother?
Telltale's episodic adventure game, The Wolf Among Us, is based on the DC comic book series Fables, which brings characters from classic fairy tales into a modern fantasy setting.
Mirror, mirror, if you're able, tell me all about this fable.
See? Was that so hard?
Bigby Wolf, the game's protagonist, is a hardened and feared badass who used to be known as the Big Bad Wolf.
By being big and being bad. Don't say that shit in front of people. It's embarrassing.
After many difficult player choices, at the end of the game, you'll have to help Wolf in deciding who is guilty between two possible suspects, a decision that is informed by the player's prior sleuthing and puzzle-solving ability.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
Number 7, Shenmue. Shenmue is an open-world action-adventure title in which the player investigates the murder of his father by exploring the town of Yokosuka, speaking to the locals and gathering evidence.
Okay, let me go. I'll tell you.
The game was very innovative for its time, implementing a full day-night schedule, real-time weather effects, fully voiced NPCs, and fun, non-linear gameplay that allowed the player to explore at their own pace.
Missed. Thanks, kid.
The game's story is full of intrigue, involving a conspiracy that leads players through a variety of beautiful locations. Plus, you can play old Sega games in the arcade. Bonus!
I should try it once.
Number 6, Blade Runner.
I didn't know where we were going, and I didn't much care. Away from the city first, and then as far as this heap could take us.
Sharing the same universe and name as Ridley Scott's classic dystopian sci-fi film, Blade Runner is a point-and-click adventure game originally released on the PC.
He looks familiar. Give me a hard copy of that.
The game tells the story of a Blade Runner, a cop whose job it is to hunt down a rogue group of artificial humans known as replicants.
Hope Early's got insurance.
Putz employs replicants, you ought to expect the worst.
Instead of simply solving puzzles like in most point-and-click adventures of its time, in Blade Runner, the player has to gather evidence and question suspects in order to progress through the game. Number 5, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? The favorite of classroom computers everywhere, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego is an adventure game in which the player has to follow clues left by fugitive thieves as they attempt to flee around the world. Ultimately leading the player to the criminal mastermind herself, Carmen Sandiego.
I am watching your every move. Not that there's that much to see, really.
Praised for both its fun gameplay and its educational value, as the game teaches geography, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego makes for a great detective adventure, especially, but not exclusively, for kids.
I'm the Chief, but you can call me, well, the Chief.
Number 4, Sam and Max The Devils Playhouse. In the third and final installment of Telltale's beloved Sam and Max series, Sam and Max The Devil's Playhouse sees the freelance police investigating the Toys of Power, common toys that grant psychic powers to those who wield them.
You guys keep it down! We're trying to save the planet here!
The game is similar to other classic Telltale adventure games, with the player controlling both Sam and Max as they search for clues and speak to strange characters, solving puzzles throughout a variety of off-the-wall, cartoony locations.
You keep coming up with creepy disaster scenarios that always end up with you eating me, Max. It's getting annoying.
If you don't like it, then stop looking so damn tasty.
Number 3, Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is an action-adventure game for the PS3, where the setting is heavily influenced by classic film noir movies.
Agent Norman Jaden, FBI.
You got a badge or something, Mr. Jaden?
The game's storyline involves a string of disappearances that are attributed to a serial killer named the Origami Killer, with each section of the game focusing on a different character as they are impacted by the murders.
The more it rains, the less time the victim has to live.
The game is notable for both its cinematic storytelling and its innovative use of context-sensitive controls, as the player attempts to solve the murders and capture the Origami Killer.
Well, if you remember anything, the smallest detail, give me a call.
Number 2, Professor Layton and the Unwound Future.
I think this mystery might be the oddest one we've ever encountered.
This is the third episode in the first trilogy of Level 5's popular games for the Nintendo DS, in which the player has to solve a variety of logic puzzles in order to push the game forward. In this iteration of the series, the lovable and sophisticated English gentleman, Professor Layton, attempts to solve a mystery involving a group of scientists and the Prime Minister who have all suddenly disappeared.
Someone find Bill!
Could their disappearance have something to do with that mysterious time machine?
I honestly thought you were pulling my leg.
Before we get to our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
From the way you just marched right on in here past all those sorry we're closed signs, you're either who I think you are or you're one determined gatecrasher.
If you think I'm Nancy Drew, you're right.
Number 1, L.A. Noire.
Cole Phelps, traffic. What have we got?
Developed by the now-defunct Team Bondi and published by Rockstar, L.A. Noire combined the open-world gameplay of Grand Theft Auto with the aesthetic of classic film noir movies from the 1940s. The game is notable for its unique mechanic that involves the player having to read the facial expressions and mannerisms of potential suspects.
You deny shooting Everett Gage.
I'm a businessman. I run a jewelry store. I don't know what you're talking about.
L.A. Noire successfully puts you in the shoes of Cole Phelps, a troubled police officer turned detective with a checkered past.
You look spooked, Phelps. I thought you'd been under fire before. It never gets any easier, Bukowski.
Bondi did an amazing job of recreating 1940s Los Angeles and creating a tense, sometimes scary, sleuthing mystery. Do you agree with our list? Did we forget any classic detective games?
No!
For more observational top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Right, man. I'll try.